Warning: the following episode of Orsini's Uncensored Mind contains explicit language and adult content. The thoughts and opinions stated on the show are reflective of AJ Orsini and his guests exclusively. Seriously, guys, the show's called Uncensored. If you got a problem with bad language, I really don't give a shit.
Here, Brett, take a ribbon, buddy.
What is this?
It's a pink ribbon. I have breast cancer.
Seriously, breast cancer?
Yes.
Sure it's not lady vagina cancer? Huh?
Excuse me. I'm trying to stay positive, both mentally and spiritually, Brett.
Well, he certainly doesn't have cancer in his fists.
He is beating his ass.
Now, if you will all excuse me again, I'm going to spend some quality time with those who are dear to me. Brett?
Yeah, hey, it's got a safety pin.
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and now your host, AJ Orsini.
How the hell is everybody out there? This is your boy. This is your main man, AJ Orsini, and I am your host of Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and I am here with yet another episode for all of you. I bequeath unto all of you episode 78. I gotta tell you guys right now, it has been a wonderful week for me. For those of you who haven't been following me on social media, once again, shame on you. But if you have found out that this past Monday was my birthday. It is Orsini's birthday. I turned, well, not today. It was on Monday. I turned 36, folks. That's right. The guy who spends all of his time watching nothing but pro wrestling and adult-oriented cartoons and a hard drive full of miscellaneous cartoon movies and Power Rangers, basically from episode 1 to whatever current series they're probably on, is turning 36. I am 36 right now. I don't feel a day over 77, to be honest with you. Back is still a little creaky, my knees are a little messed up, but that's the price you pay, baby, to be in the game. How's everybody out there doing? We have a lot to get to here, a lot on the docket here. So not only was it my birthday on Monday, but it is also my son's birthday today, the day of the release, I guess, Wednesday, the 27th, is my son's birthday. And you're probably listening to this saying to yourself, AJ, you and your birthday are 2 days apart? That's correct. My selfish, self-centered, narcissistic wife decided it was a good idea to go into labor on my birthday. Actually, it wasn't her idea to go in labor. That was the doctor's call. What ended up happening was my son was actually due somewhere around St. Patrick's Day, and we had the 9-month meeting, I guess you could say, the last meeting, the last doctor visit before the go time, before the birth, was February 24th. We had a doctor's appointment. It was the last one before birth. We went in, and the doctor took an ultrasound, a few x-ray shots here and there, blah, 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 blah. Doctor came back after some meeting with some other doctors, came back and said, well, that baby's coming tomorrow. And we said, huh? And what happened is apparently my son's feeding tube had pinched, so he wasn't eating too good, and he was starting to get smaller in size. I used to say shrink, but shrink gives people the wrong idea. He wasn't shrinking. There wasn't a death ray pointed at him or anything. He just wasn't eating as well. I think he had gotten up about as high as 5 pounds, 8 ounces, and then he started to go down. His birth weight was actually 5.5. So I always forget to get rid of that. I always forget to get rid of that when I start recording. Anywho, what was I going to say? Yes. So, he was about 5 pounds, 5 ounces when he was finally delivered. And but the concern is that he was just going to continuously get smaller. So they told us, we're going to have to induce you. You can come in. They wanted to do it that night, but we were definitely not ready at that exact moment to do that. So what had happened was we went home. I had a bed that was purchased for us for the baby shower that I hadn't put together. There was a lot of babies, so we were kind of putting this shit off. I don't know why, but we had like 3 or 4 weeks left, and baby, we were going to milk that for all it was worth. But those 3 or 4 weeks became one day. So literally in one night, we had to do a whole bunch of shit. She rested, obviously, because she had a busy day ahead of her the next day. And then we went to sleep, woke up the next day, did our usual whatever, and then we went to the hospital to get induced. And that was on the 25th, my 33rd birthday. She got induced. It obviously doesn't happen right away. It didn't happen naturally. She didn't have the usual water break. It was an inducing, so her water broke in a medical bed, and it was the whole deal. So it was all just a waiting game at that point. So my son was technically born sometime late in the morning of the 27th. So my wife really went into labor kind of the evening of the 25th, all day the 26th, on and off pains. For those of you who've been through this process before, you have to wait to get to 10 centimeters, yada, yada, yada. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you haven't had a kid, you do some shit. I'm not going to get that graphic out here. It's uncensored, baby, and I'm not getting that uncensored, especially about my wife's vagina. But I will tell you this. It is the only time in a guy's life he will ever be happy to hear that your wife's vagina is now 10 centimeters wide. Because it takes so long to get there. When you're induced. When your water breaks, you're already kind of, doing your thing. So it's not as long of a wait as when you just basically start from basically zero. And in my wife's case, because of her situation, kind of in the negatives. Yeah, I know you're jealous. Anyway, we had to start from behind the 8 ball there. Is what I'm trying to get at here. So it takes time to get to 10 centimeters to have that kid. And when the kid gets here, man, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. But that wait to get there, long deal. So that was my 33rd birthday present. I haven't received a birthday gift from her since, because that's my usual traditional gift, my son. Except for this year. Again, if you're on the Orsini's Uncensored Mind Facebook page, I posted my wife's gifts just yesterday. It was, ironically enough, I got 2 shirts. A Jushin Thunder Liger shirt, completely in Japanese, which is awesome. And I got a New Japan All-Pro shirt that she had purchased. Without the knowledge that I wasn't really a big New Japan fan. I told her, I said, I have an entire segment on my show called I'm Not a New Japan Fan. But it's just ironic that she bought that because I've kind of been coming around recently. This was like the final sign. I told you guys the story here on the show, Wrestle Kingdom. My son was actually getting into it. My son's kind of a New Japan fan. I've put on New Japan for him since. He's way more into the New Japan stuff than he is the WWE stuff. I don't know why. He just seems to gravitate toward it more. I don't know. I guess it's the hitting. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but he just gravitates towards it more. My wife has seen a little bit of it. She's kind of getting into it, and I guess she just assumed because I'd been watching it recently that I was a fan, and it's the one company that I don't have a shirt for. I've got shirts. I've got Impact shirts. I've got Ring of Honor shirts. I've got WWE shirts. I've got my own shirt, obviously. If you go to prowrestlingtees.com/AJOUM, you can get yourself an Orsini shirt as well. I've got merch for days. My whole closet is basically merch. I buy my friends' merch. So I have a ton of like local indie talent shirts in my fucking closet. I'm just a shirt like maniac. I don't really have much of a collecting thing in me. I don't really collect shit. But I guess if I had one thing about me, I guess it'd be the shirts. So I do have a ton of pro wrestling shirts. So she did get me that. I got a nice little heart ice cream cake. And it was good. That was my birthday. I don't have any complaints. I never celebrated my birthday before. Or at least I never really made a habit of it. For my wife, it was milestone stuff. So my wife happened to be around when I was 21. So she celebrated my 21st. We did a 25th. We did a 30th. And we were holding on. She wanted to do something for the 35th. I forgot what the plan was, but it kind of fell through. I don't remember. The next one I think was going to be 40. So I don't really celebrate birthdays because I just feel they're a gigantic waste of time. I never really thought birthdays were special, and I still don't. But I think this year I felt a little different because I'm starting to feel the age thing. It's more salt than pepper at this point, and my back is going. I feel like a grandpa. I'm trying to get myself into better shape. You guys already know that. Operation Be Less Fat, which is actually going pretty well right now, actually. I haven't updated you guys because I'm trying to wait for a real significant just turnaround. I've been teetering. I'm back and forth. I do it well for a while. I lose the weight. And then I fucking start skidding and the weight comes back on. And like, for every 4 days that it takes to lose weight, one bad day fucking sets me back for like 6 days. So it's a battle right now. I'm just trying to discipline myself and get a little better with it. But yeah, no, she's joined up on it too. My wife has. So it's what it is. You know, I haven't really celebrated it too much this year. I just kind of felt my age and felt the need this time to, I don't know. I wouldn't say I needed to pick me up, but I will be honest with you. I got a nice little response to it. I really didn't realize that many people gave a shit. And I know Facebook reminded you people. I know I didn't get 300 fucking happy birthdays from people who genuinely either meant it or even knew of my fucking birthday. But there were a lot of people that came out of the woodwork that did say happy birthday, that know me personally, that I haven't heard from in a long time. So I'm glad that the birthday was able to bring some positivity in my life. And that's what we're here to talk about today, folks. We're here to talk about a little positivity. There's going to be some positive talk here today on Orsini's Uncensored Mind. Yes, there's going to be some wrestling, but I also want to talk to you guys about the return of something else. The return of the What the Fuck segment. I have got to give you this What the Fuck segment. I've been waiting for a story to come along to really grab me so I could talk about this shit on the show. And this one grabbed the fuck out of me. This one grabbed me by the fucking neck and just choked me, and not in an auto asphyxiation way, the kind of you killed my family and now I want you dead kind of way. Like, it really just fucking grabbed me. So let's get into that shit. Let's talk about some what the fuck, alright guys?
Oh man, that's deep.
What in the fuck is he doing?
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
Yes, what the fuck indeed. It's actually been a while since I've heard that. I'm glad I'm bringing this back. I know I mentioned some stuff about some new segments, and believe me, they're coming up. They're coming around the bend here. I got some stuff planned for you guys. But the what the fuck segment back here, I have to talk about this shit with you guys. And the article that I am picking up here today, it's an older article. As a matter of fact, this whole incident took place in June. So if you're familiar with this story already, this may be a boring segment for you. But on the odd chance you have not heard the shit that I am about to tell you, okay, prepare yourself, because this shit is interesting as fuck. All right? We're going to talk about a man. Now, as ridiculous as this shit is, don't you just know this guy's from Florida? A lot of the crazy shit in this country, I know I get heard now officially in 16 different countries. Thank you, Turkey, for jumping on board. I mentioned that last week. I know I'm heard in many, many countries here, but here in the States, all right, every country has that one area where you know the crazies live. Our crazies are all centered in Florida for some oddball reason. And I've gotten a chance to personally witness it a few times. I've been to Florida quite a bit, actually, in my lifetime. Spent some time, as a matter of fact, in the area, specifically the one we're going to discuss right now, Kissimmee, Florida. I've spent some time down in Kissimmee, Florida. So has my family. Love the area. There's a gentleman down there, okay? A gentleman down there we have to talk about. 50-year-old Jorge Porta Sierra. If you've heard that name before on the news or whatever the case may be, this is the guy. I'm going to just put it out here and then I'll get into specifics. I am referring to him as the barbecuer of death. He is, the barbecuer of pedophiles. Death is implied in the barbecuing. He is the barbecuer of pedophiles. A pedophile barbecuer, if you will, okay? This is an incident that took place back in June 9th, 2018. Jorge had a wild bug up his ass, and he decided he was going to take a little justice, okay, into his own fucking hands, and he was going to start doling out some real-life judgment on these fucking pedophiles out in Florida. I'll let the news give you a little bit more information, and then I'll get into specifics here. Check this shit out.
Jorge Porto Sierra has been formally charged with 4 counts of attempted premeditated murder. Osceola County detectives say the 50-year-old confessed to deputies he tried to kill multiple people at the Friendly Village Inn on Earl Bronson Memorial Highway. After his March 7th arrest, Porto Sierra said he arrived at the motel to, quote, barbecue all the child molesters on fire and kill them. WESH 2 confirms at least 2 of the 4 victims are convicted sexual offenders. Witnesses told deputies Porto Sierra made several threats, screaming, quote, "I'm going to kill you, child molester," and began throwing gasoline on their front door. Porto Sierra even allegedly broke a hotel window to pour gas in. Witnesses say he was carrying a cigarette the entire time. Another couple said Porto Sierra rammed their car and poured gas on it. When asked by deputies why he did not carry out his threats, Porto Sierra said, quote, "You got here too soon."
God damn. God damn. Now look, there's a lot of different ways that this shit can be told. A lot of different ways this shit can go. Okay, that's pretty much the gist. That guy just broke it down in about 60 seconds. This guy was hell-bent on doling out some pedo justice, my friends. I don't even know. Like, I was looking up articles and shit, and this shit was everywhere, apparently. I don't know how the fuck I missed this shit. I could have did this, 6 months ago. But I'm looking through the reports here, or the different articles and all that stuff, and they're all very specific as to the intent and some of the things that took place. I don't know how the fuck he convinced 4 people to come to a hotel in Kissimmee, Florida, just for the sole purpose of barbecuing these motherfuckers. He was trying to light some bitches on fire here, and I'm trying to figure out how he was able to do that. So from what I understand, from what I gather here, there was 4 altogether. He's going to be charged with I don't even know if he's currently in the situation now or if it's already been done and over with. I don't even have a follow-up for this. I don't give a fuck. I wanted to talk more about Jorge. Fuck the fucking case. But I'm going to give you guys a little bit here in the sense that there was 2 guys in the hotel room, 2 guys in the car, like the guy said, rammed the car, poured gasoline over that motherfucker. He was trying to dole out some pedo justice. That's what it was. He said, and I got the quote here. Hold on a second. Let me pull this shit up here. He said, they raped kids. They deserve to die. I would love to know, aside from the morality of it, what prompted him to kill these 4 in particular? Was there some sort of a history that they rape a kid that he knew? Like, what the fuck? There's a witness that states they heard him screaming out, "You're going to die, child molester." Who yells the offense out loud in their threats? It would be like if you were running from a supermarket and a dude in a white smock comes running out of the supermarket and screams to the high heavens, "I'm gonna catch you, you shoplifter." That doesn't happen. Why is he out here screaming the words child molester, getting all this attention here? I don't understand it, but it's hilarious as fuck to me, because this fucking guy, Jorge here, look, what does this say here? Contrary to the, so the end, this says here that there was a fabricated report going around in the beginning stating that he had killed the 4 people, when in actuality he had not. They did not die. He did not burn them. But the intent was there. He was going to kill them. You heard the comment at the end. That's the best part of the whole deal. The deputy, because when the cop showed up, he surrendered immediately. He immediately surrendered. He put the fire fucking down. He did everything they asked him to do. Yada, yada, yada. It was conforming. And the cops asked him, "Why didn't you just go ahead and do it? Why did you even bother listening to us?" And the guy said, "Because you got here too soon." He didn't want to break. It's going to sound funny, but he didn't really want to be a criminal. He didn't really want to break law here. But God damn it, the justice system had failed this man, and he was going to take it into his own hands. He was a 50-year-old daredevil. He was a vigilante here. And the funny thing is the picture that's attached to the article. He's in the orange jumper with the white tee, but the guy has got these metallic blue lenses on his fucking glasses. First of all, his shape up is damn near top notch for a 50-year-old. Hairline's a little low for me. I'd like it a little higher if I had his skull, but those metallic blue shades are really kicking it for me. He looks sad because he's going to jail, but I think he feels vindication inside. He feels he was going to do the right thing. That's up to you guys. What do you guys think about that? You think he was doing the right thing? Do you value human life like that? Because I remember when I was doing armed guard training, they would tell you what the fucking they would tell you in the training that when you have your gun, that there are very strict rules to when you can and cannot use your gun. And they even gave examples of like if the perp is surrendering and is complying with your order, you cannot fire your weapon. If a guy goes into a train car, this is the exact example they gave me, by the way. A guy goes into a train car, murders 8 people, comes out of the train car, you're standing there with your gun drawn. If he comes out of that train car with the gun either pointed down or not pointed in a threatening manner and proceeds to comply with your order and touch the ground and all that stuff, you are not allowed to shoot him. Yes, he just killed 8 people, but you are not allowed to shoot him. That's law. There are certain protocols that go with using that gun. So that's how the law feels about it. That's how it interprets it. Even guilty men don't deserve to be killed. That's what the law states. But morality-wise, how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys think that... Because to me, this guy is a fucking hero with this shit. He's going after people that have done the most despicable acts of all time. Now, they're all, from what I understand here from these articles, they're convicted child molesters. These are not people that he just assumed had done some naughty things with kids. These guys have been seen in the court of law and convicted of either being inappropriate or having full-out intercourse with children. And child molester to me indicates sexual interaction. I'm being modest with the whole inappropriate thing. But he felt that shit was enough. And he had enough. He was going to barbecue these motherfuckers. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn on that. Me personally, I'm torn on that. On the one hand, you don't want to see a guy go to jail for... his heart was in the right place. It's just his mind took it to a dark fucking place. He wasn't going to try to catch these guys. He wasn't going to let these motherfuckers try to do this shit again with other kids. You're not going to get a chance to relapse around Jorge. He will burn you the fuck. He will burn you the fuck up. He will put you out of your goddamn misery. Will Jorge Porta Sierra, which by the way is an awesome fucking name. I wish that was a wrestling name. Jorge Porta Sierra. That's nice. Anyway, speaking of wrestling names, we got a lot of shit to get to as far as that bullshit goes. We have to talk about Raw last night. We got to get into this. It's not my top story, but it is something that absolutely must be discussed. Huge news last night, Monday Night Raw. I was going to mention it last week, didn't get a chance to, but Roman Reigns returned last night, Monday Night Raw. He was there doing the whole deal. They did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They opened the show with it, and he came out to I'll tell you this. The time off really helped, and I know he was dealing with shit during that time off, but I think in all actuality, the time off in general was needed. The guy was burned out. The guy was just genuinely burned out. If there's any reason to assume, I don't know much about this stuff, but I tell you this, the assumption, there's this assumption that goes along with the whole burning the candle at both ends, really stressing yourself out and just going way farther than you really need to go in your profession. And it's just unfortunate that when he came back, he looked good in the sense of he just looked so much fresher and more natural. And he came out and he was shaking hands and he was doing the rounds. He just looked better, which is unfortunate because that even though he made the announcement, yes, I'm back, it's in remission, all that stuff, even though he went ahead and said all the right things, you can take a look at him, or at least in my opinion, you can take a look at him and just see that there was just an entire weight lifted off of his shoulders. For him, he just looked easy, he just looked okay for once to just come out and be, I don't know, more Joe than Roman, I guess. I guess he was still doing the whole deal where he's not, not doing the gimmick right now. He's just being Joe or whatever the fuck. So he looked good anyway. He came out, did the whole deal and did the whole hype and got everybody wondering what the hell is he going to say. And then it does the whole, hey, it's in remission, guys. And then you hear the big pop and all that stuff, and that's fine. That's good stuff. It really is, and it's a heartwarming situation. It really is. It's heartwarming. It's nice to see the people react the way that they did, and even later when he finally came out with Seth and did some physical stuff, which shocked me. I didn't think they were going to let him get physical so soon. I know he said he was back, but that doesn't mean he's fighting right fucking now, right? So he comes out later, does a big deal with Seth to come out and save Dean and yada 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 yada. So what are we going to talk about? We're talking about the return? Well, no, not necessarily. There's much to discuss with that, but that's not the angle we're going to take here with this show, or this episode, I should say. We're going to talk to the other side of the group. We're going to talk to the anti-Roman Reigns people. Just for a second. Just to get some clarification, because I really, truly do believe that some clarification is needed here. For those of you who are of the opinion that all of this is a work, that all of this was just some thinly veiled concoction of an idea to get Roman some time off and off of the minds of the casual viewer and the wrestling fan, to have him come back fresh and looking good and pushing hard, and this was some sort of idea to get some sort of sympathy towards him, to get people to react to him differently, and all of that good stuff. If that was something that was circulating in your head, I will tell you this. Most people so far have been reacting to you guys by saying, go fuck off, you heartless bastards, and blah, 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 blah. I will not take that tact. I will not. I will say this to you. I understand. I understand. I do. I do understand. I get where you guys are fucking coming from. I really do. Because to be honest with you, I don't believe the cancer thing was a work. I don't think it's fake. But I can totally see your point when you respond with, I could totally see Vince McMahon and the WWE doing this. Because to be honest with you, so could I. I can genuinely see them pulling off this Montreal screwjob level type of secrecy. I can see this happening. I don't believe that it is what happened. What I think happened is actually kind of worse. Believe it or not. I actually think faking it would have been a little easier to explain, and to be honest with you, a little easier to swallow. Because, as stated before, I can totally see them faking it. I can totally see them doing that. That's why I'm not really upset that people feel that way. But I don't believe that it's fake. I don't believe that it was staged or whatever the case may be. I actually do believe very much that Roman Reigns had leukemia and that Roman Reigns was sick for an undetermined, for a certain amount of time. And to a degree, I believe he's sick now. Just because your cancer goes into remission doesn't mean you just wake up from a nap and you're just better. It takes time. There's medications that go through your body. There's all forms of techniques that they use to try to either be rid of or put into remission in your form of cancer. Especially since his particular form of cancer is blood related. It's in the blood, kind of like. So it's very plausible to me. I find it very believable, as a matter of fact, that Roman Reigns was genuinely sick. I actually do believe very much so that he was sick. The reason why I say I believe what WWE is doing is even worse than that is because I think the WWE is, I don't want to say the word excited, but I genuinely do believe that they are excited. I actually do believe that the WWE was very into the idea of having this being made public. I'll say that. I believe that the WWE has zero problem exploiting the fact that he has cancer. I think people, once again, as easily as you can believe that WWE would lie about this, is just as easily as I would believe the WWE would run this whole idea into the fucking ground. I believe that the WWE is going to use this every fucking step of the way. They're going to, and I have evidence of this. I have evidence that they will. For those of you that really don't believe that the WWE would go that far, you guys thought that they would go as far as to lie about it. I'd go even further. I think they're going to use this to the nth degree. I think every other situation will be with the cancer stuff. It will be how he overcame. It'll be the story. I would be surprised. I would be stunned, actually, if they didn't have cameras going with him into the doctor's office and they didn't have everything documented and they didn't do all their P's and Q's and have all that shit recorded. And I would expect a Roman Reigns road to recovery or rebuilding an empire or whatever the fuck WWE 24 on the fucking network. I think the plan is even more nefarious than you guys even began to thought. You think that they're devious enough to concoct a plan or to fabricate a story? I think they're evil enough to use the real fucking thing. I think they're going to exploit this man. I think they're going to move as far into this as they possibly can because they are sick and tired of having their baby faces be treated like trash and booed. They're sick of it. And they're going to do everything they can to make sure that this baby face survives the lashings. Okay? That's what I think is going to happen here. I think they're going to do everything in their physical power to go ahead and make sure that you are fully aware he's the guy that beat cancer. Now, here's the other part of the problem that we have for people who are believing that this is a work. If this is indeed a work, and the WWE is telling you that he is a cancer survivor and all this good stuff because they were trying to get sympathy or they were trying to get you to believe that he's a tougher guy than even you thought, right? The question becomes, where do you go from there? What happens after that? Because you have to assess what the reaction was. He got a gigantic pop on Raw. But you have to figure out, as a businessman, you have to figure out what the pop was for. Was the pop for Roman Reigns, specifically him, because of his amazing charisma and his will to survive and refuse to let the cancer get him down? Or was that pop for a cancer survivor? Can you take Deborah from across the street, who also has leukemia, put her in the middle of that ring, tell the whole audience, hey, her leukemia is in remission, guys, and get the same pop? Absolutely you could, because again, it's been done before. I have evidence. They do it once a year. Susie V. Komen Foundation, all the women come out. A bunch of people nobody knows, but they survived cancer, so here's your huge obligatory clap and pop, and they do it all the time. They do it all the time. But here's the deal, guys. If you're popping for Roman, you're a fan. If you're popping for the cancer patient, you're not. And if you're not a fan of Roman Reigns, then eventually the cancer thing will wear off. If you take Deborah from across the street and put her in the ring once a week and tell people she's a cancer survivor, the claps will get lower and lower and lower, and eventually no one will give a shit. Because that's how life is. That's how life is. When you have cancer, ask anyone that you know it. If you have anyone who's going through this, I feel so apologetic for this, what I'm saying right now, because I'm sure it's hitting you very hard right now. This is a real life deal. But this show is called Uncensored. I'm giving you the uncensored view of what I'm talking about. And anybody who's been through this probably doesn't have the guts to say this out loud, but I'll say it. What happens is, because I've gone through this, I've had family members who have dealt with this, is when they go through it at first, you want to be there for them. That goes for any illness. Whenever you have a friend who's in a car accident or whatever the fucking case may be, just think of any illness that hits somebody for the first time, right? They're in need. You come to be by their side. You come to help them out. You bend over backwards. You call out of work. You call in sick yourself just to be by their bedside. You're always trying to give them 100%. Okay? Cancer goes into remission and goes away. She beat it. She's strong. She's number one. She's the best, right? Few years down the line, shit happens. Life happens. The cancer is back. So you're back by their side. We're going to get through this. Don't you worry. You're going to beat it. It's no big deal. We can fight this. You're strong. You're number one. You're the best. Right? A few months in, a little chemo, a little TLC, cancer's in remission. Every single time you have this situation, you're bound for another. I've heard stories. There's stories going around online right now of beating it, surviving it, beating it, surviving it. It's an endless game. It goes back and forth. And it's a hellish game for anybody that goes through it. Anybody who goes through that, I'm telling you right now, it is not a fun time, okay, at all. Trust me, the person who's dealing with the physical cancer is also pretty fucking upset that the cancer keeps coming back. But what I'm getting at is it doesn't do a whole lot of favors for the people who support you either. It brings them down. It just does. That's why people who get cancer usually tend to keep the illness to themselves or wait to the last minute or whatever the case may be because they don't want to be a burden to other people. I feel that way when I have the fucking flu. I don't want to tell anybody I'm sick because I don't want to bring anybody else's shit down. I deal with my own illnesses on my own time. Now, over time, that's going to come back to haunt me, and I can already foresee that coming, but until then, this is kind of how I handle shit. And there are people out there that are like that. They won't disparage, they won't give you that information because they don't want to be the one who tangles you up and drags you into this shit because it's a long haul deal. A long haul deal. Okay? It is very difficult to be the person sick, but it is also very hard to be the person always supporting the people who are sick. It becomes difficult. So what happens is those cheers for Roman Reigns for being the cancer survivor, that will go away. And when it does, it will return to the boos. And when it returns, because you know they're going to push his ass to the moon, he's back in time for WrestleMania. You really think Roman Reigns is not going to be involved in the main event of WrestleMania in some way? Or at least a high-profile matchup in some way? You don't think this next year is going to be the year of Roman Reigns? And it's going to go right back to business as fucking usual. And when it does, they will boo again. And when they boo, what next? This is why I'm telling you there's no way this could be a work because there is no guarantee that cancer shit will work forever. All right, you know who's another guy who could have used that idea? Cena could have used that idea. Because there's a baby face. Like, can you tell me right now if he would have come away with some sort of fucking illness or whatever the case may be, if he would have been out 4 or 5 months and come back, he would have been Super Cena to the umpteenth degree, but it would have worn off then too because it always worn off. What are you going to do? Another cancer angle and another cancer angle? He's going to beat it 3 or 4 times? It's not going to happen that way. This can't possibly be a work. It cannot be because there's just too much work in the work. The reason why the Montreal Screwjob worked so well is because it was one consolidated incident shared amongst basically 4 fucking people. 4. And the only thing they had to do to keep up the pretenses of the incident was keep quiet. This is the opposite of that. You would need to, in order to keep this shit going as a work, you would need to consistently, time and time again, possibly even yearly, keep updating and reminding people, oh, he's not sick, oh, he's sick again. He's sick again, guys. Feel bad for him. And then as soon as you feel bad, oh, he's not sick anymore. It's a roller coaster that people will catch on to. People are already all over the WWE for ridiculous reasons. Lying about cancer would be a fucking death sentence. Death sentence. They would much rather, I promise you, they would not make this shit up. What they would much rather do is run into the ground that he has cancer and that he's beating it. Where's my evidence that I told you earlier that I had? That little boy, Crusher. Remember the Crusher kid who was sick? They ran that little fucker down into the goddamn ground. Everything was about the Crusher. They had him, the Hall of Fame, and he did all this stuff. He's the Hall of Fame award, and he had him beating Triple H in the ring, and LaBelle locking Daniel Bryan, and all this different stuff. He was the toast of the crowd. And I tell you this, they say they had him on there a lot because they just fell so in love with him, and I really believe that. I really believe they did. But that's what they do. They exploit what they love. And they love attention, and that's what they're getting from this. I want to read this real quick, and then I'm going to be done with this topic, because this is very important. So during the course of Monday Night Raw, and of course afterward, like I just said, everybody was being very down as to whether or not this thing was either real or not real, okay? Here is a series of tweets, and I'm going to read some of them, from Leukemia Cares. It's a national blood cancer support charity over in the UK. They took to the Twitter and gave us a few threads right? And I'm going to read some of them here. Firstly, incredible news about Roman Reigns. Relapse is a scary reality for all leukemia patients, either fear or your cancer returning or having to face treatment for relapse. It's great to hear some positive news from a leukemia patient. The tweets we are seeing mainly centered around the idea of what a cancer patient should look like. How can he have hair? How can he have not lost weight? Why doesn't he look like a cancer patient? We have all these, now this is me speaking, not the article. We have all these internet detectives. Everybody has a fucking medical degree on Facebook, right? And everyone, wow, they're full of shit. He wouldn't look like that. Anywho, they responded further. Back to basics. Leukemia is a cancer. It affects people of all ages. There are 4 main types of cancer: ALL, AML, CLL, and CML. I was going to look those up. I did not get a chance. You are free to do so on your own. However, there are other types of subtypes. There are other types and subtypes. In caps, leukemia is complicated. The different types are key. Acute leukemias are aggressive and need aggressive treatment to save a patient. Chronic leukemias are incurable but treatable. Don't forget, we do not know what type of leukemia he has. Therefore, none of us are in a position to question his treatment, how he should look, etc. Leukemia can make you lose weight. Leukemia can also make you gain weight. There is no one way that leukemia should look. A key example of this is huge. At WWE fan and patient advocate Chris the Script, at Chris the Script, whoever that is, I clicked on the link, who has lived with a chronic leukemia for the past decade. Does he look like a leukemia patient to you? And there's a picture here if you click that link there. And he does, for the record, if you don't feel like clicking the link, he does not. A final few thoughts on the psychological impact of leukemia. Living with or beyond the leukemia diagnosis is scary. The fear of relapse is always there. Think before you tweet. We're more than happy to answer any questions you have about leukemia or point you in the direction of other information. Don't be shy. There is no such thing as a silly question. And that's the end of the thread, and I have to stop them there because that's not what we're talking about. Don't let logic and fact get in the way of an argument. People would rather just get online and pretend to know what they're talking about. As opposed to, I promise you, not one person who's called it a work, not one person who said, oh, this looks like bullshit, will contact these people and take them up on their offer and get some genuine information as to what the fuck they're talking about. People would rather just go out on a limb and just pretend that they know what they're talking about and state their opinions as fact. And the fact of the matter is, you have no evidence at all whatsoever to prove he either does or does not have fucking leukemia. Okay? And I just laid down very eloquently, I might add, how there's no fucking possible way that it makes any sense for anybody to make that shit up. It makes far more sense to do what I think they're doing, which is take the truth that he has cancer and rub that shit in your face for the next 10 fucking years. Get ready, buckle up. It's going to be a cancer roller coaster, okay? Much like a popular television show says all the time, winter is coming. I don't know what show that is because I'm not up on my pop culture, but I will tell you this, winter is indeed coming, and winter gets chilly. You know how you can counteract chilly? You know how you can counteract cold? Clothing. That's right, the more clothing you have on, the better a chance you have of surviving those frigid temperatures. You know what the color of this particular winter is? Gray. You didn't know that? I don't know what it really is either, but I can tell you it's gray because it fits into my agenda. And my agenda is to let you guys know that you can fight those frigid temperatures by wearing the Orsini's Uncensored Mind official t-shirt. It's a sports gray. It's very needed. It's very nice. You guys can get that by going to prowrestlingtees.com/AJOUM. So once again, fans using terms they don't understand. So apparently we had a black day the other day. I can't remember exactly which day it was, where there was 3 releases from the WWE. You had TJP, the winner of the first ever Cruiserweight Classic, and first ever new era WWE Cruiserweight Champion. You had Hideo Itami, a.k.a. Kenta, who was released, and then there was Ty Dillinger. Once again, not understanding what these terms mean. It wasn't a black day, dude. All these people, with the exception of maybe TJP, asked for their fucking releases. They wanted to go. They no longer wanted to be around the WWE. Ty Dillinger, for obvious reasons. How many times can this fucking guy get put through the ring here. This guy's been in developmental 1,000 times, and every time he goes, he works hard enough to get to the main roster, and then nothing. He has been released a bunch of times. I think this is the first time he's asked for his release. I think now that he's asked for it, that might be it for him in the WWE. I don't know if he can travel around and do some stuff. A lot of guys who've left the WWE have prospered pretty good outside of it. If he can go out and pull a Drew McIntyre here, head over to some other places, do some other things, get a little bigger, maybe get a little stronger. Who knows, right? There's a lot of opportunities out there for Ty Dillinger. He is an amazing talent. He really is. He's not good. He's amazing. This guy connects with an audience really, really well. And I can see a lot of companies really benefiting from him. I know people's instinct tells you right away, hey, he can go to AEW. Now, I would stay away from that. I wouldn't want him anywhere around AEW, at least not right away. Maybe down the line once AEW has kind of picked up steam there. And Ty Dillinger could definitely do some things in some other places. The obvious choice is, Ring of Honor, New Japan. But I think even on other scales, I mean, the UK scene is still rather warm. I know that the WWE went in there and did exactly what they wanted to do and killed all of that momentum. You don't hear nearly as much about the UK scene as you did maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago. WWE did exactly what they wanted to do. They put a stop to all that. But even still, the companies out there are still doing very well. Rev Pro, obviously, traveling around. Progress, which has the relationship with WWE. But that doesn't stop them from booking the talent they want. He still has an option with them. That would be a safer bet. I mean, ICW is still doing some things over in the UK. You could move over to Japan, and you can do other things. There's other countries to go to. Germany, WXW's out there doing a bunch of cool stuff. I mean, there's options out there. You can do higher up indies here. You could do your MLWs, your Evolve. You can do your PWGs. There's a bunch of different directions he can fucking go in and make a little extra fucking cash, man. He can do that. So I'm actually looking forward to see what he does outside of the WWE as opposed to whatever it was he was going to force himself to do in the WWE. Same goes for Hideo Itami, actually. I'm not a very big Kenta guy. I appreciate his work. I thought in Japan he was basically a god. Over there, he was dope. Outside of his little bubble, I really wasn't that impressed with him. Honestly, I really didn't think he would do that well here, and he did not. And now, I don't think it was all him. There was some fate behind that. The injuries obviously took its course, and he took a lot of time off here and a lot of time off there. The WWE obviously had sights set on making him something. You can tell by the way he was used early. They even took the NXT Championship to Japan, if you remember correctly. The Beast from the East show, Kevin Owens defending the NXT Championship against Finn Balor. Well, Finn Balor got his big championship win in his old stomping ground there in Japan. That win, there was a lot of rumor that win was meant for Hideo Itami. That Kenta was going to win the championship in Japan over Kevin Owens. It was going to be this big ordeal. And injuries. Everything was always keeping him back. Even when they still promoted him out of NXT and took him to 205 Live, it just didn't click the same. The style doesn't work. He finally pulls out the GTS only for them to sanitize that. It's not a fit. It's really not a fit. I feel the same way about Shinsuke. It's just not a fit. It's not that they're bad. They're really, really good. They're actually some of the best wrestlers in the world, but styles matter. And in the WWE, if you can't work the WWE style, it just doesn't look right. Shinsuke just doesn't look right. Kenta just didn't look right. Some guys just don't look right. Even if you think about it, even during Asuka's run, even Asuka, like during her run as the NXT champion, where she reigned for like almost 2 consecutive years, you can see that she was having to do a completely different style from really, less stiff, obviously, but a lot more choreographed, a lot more spotty, a lot more be in the right place at the right time type of style. So I don't think he's going to do poorly. I think you take Kenta away from this system and you put him in a situation where he can just be Kenta, and he's going to do great. But here it just didn't work. TJP, I've never really been that big on TJP either, to be honest with you. I think he's a hell of a worker. I think inside the ring he's a dope mechanic. I think he has the possibility of making a lot of other guys look really good. But he himself is about as interesting as a stick of chalk. There wasn't really much about him that was really that interesting. As a matter of fact, the reasons that we're hearing about his termination is tattoos, and the tattoos might have livened him up. The tattoos might have been a really good idea for him. A different look for TJ would have been dope. Coming out there being as small as he is to video game music also did not fucking help. I'm sure it popped a few people. It popped me. I'm a big fan of that song. But I know from the mainstream point of view, that probably didn't do him any fucking favors. He looks and he acts like a fucking kid. He's got the fresh kicks and the dope haircut. He's basically a 90s teenager in a 30-year-old body. And it didn't cross over and it didn't work at all. That's why I thought the tattoos might have been an actual good look. He could have went a different direction, maybe roughed up a little bit, a little rugged, a little bit more manly on the offensive side, a little rougher, maybe turn him heel, get a little dastardly. There was some room to do some stuff, but I get it. I'm not that surprised, to be honest with you, that he was let go. Again, he will have a multitude of opportunities because he really is talented. He really is gifted inside that ring. There's a lot of things he can do that a lot of cruiserweights cannot on the mechanical side. A lot of cruiserweights or flippy, fly-around type guys, he can do those things, but he's a lot better inside the ring, as a matter of fact. He's a much better mat technician, I think, than he gets credit for. So for the wrestling companies that kind of advocate that style, this is going to be dope. This is a dope opportunity. Get a veteran guy in there who's still young enough to do it, and maybe get a lot of your talent over, because he's really good at that. He could sell his ass off. He can sell pretty much anything. I just dropped this on top of that chair. And he could do pretty much anything with anybody. It's just an entertainment factor with him, that's all. So put him up against somebody with a little bit more charisma, and the match would be really, really dope. All right, so those releases took place over the course of the week. SmackDown took place here tonight. I discussed something about Raw, because there was a big moment on Raw with Roman's return. There was also another big moment on SmackDown. Another return. And this return was not received nearly as well as the Roman Reigns one. Kevin Owens has showed his face again, looking leaner, looking meaner. This guy looks like he's loaded for bear. Kevin Owens looks focused, baby. He looks like he's ready to go. And a very focused and motivated Kevin Owens is a dangerous Kevin Owens. As a matter of fact, not only is he more dangerous looking, but him and Vince McMahon made up from the headbutt and the frog splash and the beating him up. Apparently, Kevin Owens is back in the good graces here of the McMahon family, because here comes a contract signing. We're opening up SmackDown with a contract signing. Daniel Bryan already in the ring, didn't even get his entrance, which is fine. He's a heel. We don't need his entrance. They need to change his music, by the way. The whole Fight of the Valkyrie thing it still gets people doing the yes stuff. It's the reason why they changed Shinsuke's music, right? You didn't want them singing along. They still do it, but that was the intent. You could do that here with Daniel Bryan, but I digress. I'm sidetracking here. So Daniel Bryan's already in the ring, so is Rowan. And we've got Stephanie and Shane McMahon in the ring. And Daniel's already in the ring, and they mention Daniel. They give him a nice little mention. He's sitting there. And they proceed to spend the next 30 hours putting over how great Kofi's been for the last 11 years. Not great enough to be a world champion, but great. And that's not me talking. That's WWE standards. They just put over how well he's an employee he's been for the last 11 years, yet he's never been world champion. As a matter of fact, Shane even made a comment. He was perhaps a person we have overlooked, but no longer. Okay, and why is that now? No longer are we overlooking him? Oh, because of the crowd reaction? Okay, I digress. We continue on. You want to know more about me and Kofi Kingston, you can check out last week's episode. I ran that bitch down. So we're not going to sit here and just go on and on about Kofi Kingston. But out comes the New Day, and Kofi comes out, delivers a pretty okay babyface promo. He's getting everybody juiced up. They're milking, and they get down to the table. They make some signatures here, and here goes Kofi to sign when Vince McMahon's music hits. Vince comes out, basically thanks Kofi for his 11 years, which was a nice turn for a heel. But you could just feel it coming, right? He put over Kofi so good, and then he was like, however, and you can just hear the boos coming. He's like, here we go. It's the end of the run right here. And Vince just basically said, I found someone better. I found someone more qualified. I found somebody who's going to give me bigger box office for Fastlane. And out comes Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, by the way, did this entire thing to perfection. The fact that he was just completely soulless in this entire deal was completely great, because you get the idea that perhaps, especially since they're putting him up against Daniel Bryan, that Kevin's coming in the babyface on this. So what happened is Vince McMahon says, Kevin Owens is taking your place. And Kevin's music hits, Kevin comes out. I don't even think he really even looked at Vince. He just came out, marched all the way to the ring, up the ring steps, inside the ring, right past the New Day. He didn't bump him or shove him or anything. He just kind of walked around them, sat right in the chair, didn't even look at New Day, but stared a hole into Daniel Bryan. And the body language read to me that he perhaps, even he perhaps, is not very happy with how this came about. But he's a competitor. He obviously wants to be WWE champion, and he's not going to turn down an opportunity when it's being given to him right now. So I'm pretty sure there's that look. And then later on, the main event of the show, we get Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston as a tag team against Rowan and Daniel Bryan. And you can see Kevin and Kofi just kind of teeing off and looking at each other and trying to be a cohesive tag team. There was no swerve at the end. Kevin looks straight up babyface at this point. Even though he's doing this reluctantly, he kind of has to do it. It's the WWE Championship, and it's the final pay-per-view before Mania. So you kind of want to put yourself in that main event picture, which is the next part about this I love so much. Yeah, doing this, pulling Kofi from the Fastlane picture does increase his chances for WrestleMania. I'll go ahead and co-sign that from what I've been hearing from people and fans pretty much all around. It does really do magnify the popularity that he has incurred. So, yeah, there's a good chance he's going to go to WrestleMania and compete for the championship, maybe even win it. But that doesn't mean you can't bring someone else or bring a few people up along the way, and I think they've been doing that with Daniel Bryan. For everybody who's complaining about Daniel Bryan and his current championship reign, I got to give it to the man. The guy has been getting over a lot of talent recently. He's been giving a lot of guys a lot of shine all at once. Samoa Joe, Mustafa Ali. I mean, he's been getting in the ring with a lot of guys recently. Kofi Kingston, getting them over one at a time. And now we have, obviously, Daniel Bryan's obviously the champion. Kofi Kingston's obviously the people's choice there. He's the one that the people want to see compete for the WWE Championship. And then, of course, you have Kevin Owens, who is coming off of an injury. He's fresh. He's been gone for, 6-7 months now? Double knee surgery. He's been gone. So he's coming out fresh. He's not stale. He's ready to go. And now you have another main event player here. Now on the SmackDown brand, which was also kind of confusing because he was a Raw guy not too long ago. Or when he got hurt, he was a Raw guy. But I like the fact that he's on SmackDown because now that's going to freshen up that scene. There's even a rumor, people talking, amok about even adding Ali to this. I would not actually be opposed to a 4-way. I think that would be very interesting. So long as Kofi pins Daniel. Whoever wins the championship needs to pin Daniel. Or if Daniel retains, I think he would have to pin Ali. I don't think he would. I don't think you kill off Kofi's momentum, and I don't think you kill off Owens' return. So it'd be that way. Whoever wins the championship would have to pin Daniel, and Daniel would have to pin Ali. I think at best, because I think Ali's talented enough to get past that loss, especially if it's a WrestleMania loss for the WWE Championship. I mean, that would be huge for his career. I don't think he'd be complaining one incy little bit about being in that situation at all. Pay me right now, I would fucking do it. I don't think there's anybody on the planet who wouldn't take that job at WrestleMania. So that would be a very interesting prospect. But I wouldn't. I don't think so. I think people are clamoring for it. I think it'll happen at this point. All signs point to Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan at this point. It just seems like the only viable option at this point. And it seems like the WWE is really staring into the skid on this. The promo packages, the promos that the McMahons are doing in the ring for Kofi, and then, of course, even Vince McMahon himself giving him praise right before he pulls the rug out from underneath him. The overall response to his entrance, people are just solidly behind Kofi right now. People are making comparisons right now to him and Daniel Bryan in 2013. With the whole Yes Movement deal. And Kofi made some comments that kind of linked it. I think that's where it got started. The whole tweets, the social media awareness about him and being over. I made my feelings very clear on this last week. He is the model employee. He is an amazing performer and a great wrestler. But he's never been a world champion, and there's a reason for that. And they showed you a giant package tonight, I guess, because I'm filming here on Tuesday. They showed you a giant package on exactly why he's been good, but he's never really been great. And the whole New Day thing has made him great. And I think you should give a lot of credit, as much credit as Kofi gets for his in-ring work and his commitment and his ability to get into the ring and deliver every single time. You got to give it to Big E and Xavier Woods on this, because more often than not in a stable, they don't really go that hard to get the other guy over like that. These two guys are literally surrendering whatever it is they're doing anywhere. There's been no talk of a New Day matchup at all at WrestleMania, and we're coming off of how many? Almost, what was that? WrestleMania 33, where they didn't even have a match at all. They were hosts. And to be honest with you, I don't even remember what they did last year. I think it might have been a tag team match for the tag titles. I'm not even clear at this point as to what it was. And now basically they're sacrificing yet another WrestleMania just for the opportunity to see if they could get Kofi Kingston into the WWE Championship match. Not even to be the champion, just to be in that position. Because remember, they were promoting it. It was Kofi's first time ever getting a one-on-one opportunity for the WWE Championship. So they're trying to make history happen, and they're trying to do it through Kofi. You got to give him credit. You know, I think it was, Scott Hall or somebody from the Clique. You can either make money or you can make friends, and I got a whole lot of friends, so let's make some money. It's usually how that ends up going. Friendships usually go to the wayside here when it comes to main event picture and WWE Championship opportunities. But these two guys really seem to be dead set on making sure that Kofi gets an opportunity here, a really fair up and down one. And thank goodness that Daniel Bryan is the WWE champion for this. I can't really think of that many performers on the roster that's good enough to go out there and either beat him and not get destroyed doing it because Kofi's just so over, or jobbing to Kofi and still maintaining whatever momentum you've picked up with this new character that you've been developing. So it's very tough. Yes, last year New Day was in a triple threat tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The Bludgeon Brothers, the Usos, and the New Day. And that match was so great, I didn't even remember that it existed. 5 minutes and 50 seconds, so there you go. It came after Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey, the mixed tag. Well, so it came after arguably the best match on the fucking card. So there you go. That's probably why I don't fucking remember it. I forgot how many matches were on this show. Trust me, folks, as we get closer to WrestleMania, we'll be divulging more into this stuff. I got a lot of cool shit planned for WrestleMania, a lot of cool guests that's going to come on. We're going to talk WrestleMania Road 2 after Fastlane, which is another I mean, what the fuck are we doing here with this Fastlane stuff? What the fuck? You ever seen Orgasm Denial? Do you know what Orgasm Denial is? When you get a chance, go to the old Google machine, right? And do fucking... orgasm denial, right? And basically all it really is just like some chick teasing your dick for forever, and you get right to the point where you're getting ready to blow off, man, and she just stops doing everything that she's doing, and it's supposed to give you like this intense, like frustrating feeling, like it's almost like autoerotic asphyxiation type deal. That's what Fastlane basically is for me right now. It's just fucking disgusting. I really truly believed when I was watching Elimination Chamber that we were on the road to WrestleMania. Let's start talking. Let's get hyped. But no, I gotta wait till March 10th. I film my shows after Sunday, so I guess March 12th or whatever. We could finally get on the fucking road to WrestleMania. It's fucking disgusting that I gotta even wait for a pay-per-view that no one gives a fuck about. I would be stunned if the talent gave a fuck. It's just basically going to be fucking rematches. It's not this Sunday, it's next Sunday where we'll be doing Fastlane. I mean, look at the matches so far. The Usos versus The Miz and Shane for the tag team titles. We knew that was going to happen. Daniel and Kevin, which we just found out about. The Boston Hug Connection against Nia Jax and Tamina. The team that should have won, Team Faceburger, gets their 2-on-2 opportunity. And Asuka versus Mandy Rose for the SmackDown Women's Championship. No one gives a fuck about any of those. This is a throwaway. This is a waste of funds. It's a waste of funds, this pay-per-view. Save it. Cancel the fucking show. Just start with the fucking WrestleMania hype. Because there's really no reason for literally any of this. And that's just me probably sounding a little upset and bitter about it, but that's just the fact of it. I mean, Fastlane. Either do Fastlane or do Elimination Chamber. You didn't need both. Okay, and the shows aren't dual branded, so it wasn't like you did a Raw show and you tried to sneak in a SmackDown show before the WrestleMania. They're all on the same fucking show, so there's really no need for literally any of this shit. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I'm in WrestleMania gear right now. I'm just holding off until WWE gets his ass into WrestleMania gear, and then we can really start to do this, guys. All right, we're gonna start wrapping this up here, and real quickly before we go, I just wanted to. Real quick, I wanted to play something for you guys really quickly. There is a young artist coming up. Her name is Christina Contagion, okay? Christina Contagion. Remember that name, ladies and gentlemen. How do I know this young woman? Well, we practically grew up together. She is my stepsister. My father remarried and to a woman that had children of her own, and she was the oldest of those children. I am the oldest of my siblings, and we've known each other a long time. And for as long as I've known her, she has been a singer. And she's been singing professionally for quite a while, on and off, doing, life takes over sometimes, guys. But she's really pushing hard now, and I'm really happy for her. She's been recently married, and she's really pushing her career to a whole nother level right now. She is a wonderful singer. I actually have her new single here, Who Knew? And I'm going to end this podcast with the song. I kind of wanted to play the song for you guys. You'll also be able to take a look at the music video. There's a music video for it. I'm going to be posting it up in the description with this episode. And you'll be able to check out the song on YouTube. And you can follow her on social media. All that stuff will be in the description of this episode. So take a listen, and then at the end of the song, I'll be playing my sponsorship commercial and then my kids. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading, and of course, thank you for sharing, and also thank you for enjoying. I butcher my sign off every time, but you know what? We're getting there, folks. We're gonna get there. So enjoy, folks. Again, Christina Contagion, Who Knew?
Never really thought about it, never really gave it much attention. All these years and no idea, all this time you never thought to mention. Now I'm looking at you different, wondering how all this time I missed it. Where do we go from here? Confessions cross your lips and now we're different. Who knew you were already thinking about me like you do? Oh, who knew? Now you got me looking at you like that too. Never really cared about it. Now I'm overthinking every move, all up in my head about it. Not sure what to think or what to do. There's so much more at stake for us, so much more to change with every move. We really have no idea. We gamble with so much if we pursue. Oh, it's just so hard to fight, wanting you so bad that I can't take no more. I can't take no more. We have crossed the line this time. Open up the door and I can't take no more. I can't take no more. Who knew? Oh, you were already thinking about me like you do. Oh, who knew? Yeah. Now you got me looking at you like that. Now you got me looking. Oh, now you got me looking. Who knew? You were already thinking about me like you do. Who knew? Who knew? Now you got me looking at you like that too. Oh, who knew?
Hey guys, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m., you guys can go over to ajoum.podbean.com to download the most recent episode of Orsini's Uncensored Mind. And I am happy to announce that people from over 15 countries have done just that several thousands of times. I am so proud of the success this show has had currently, and I look forward to the future that is so bright. Ooh, I got to wear shades. And if you are a business out there right now looking and entering a sponsorship situation, look no further than Orsini's Uncensored Mind. I've got a ton of fans who are looking to hear all about your service. All you need to do is reach out to me. Send me a message on social media or email me at ajorsini96host@gmail.com, and let's get this buddy system working. I'm here to work for you, and let's make this happen.
Anyway, house. Listen to my daddy so. Orsini is extra mine.